Hello everyone. I would like to give you a brief introduction to the thinkFinance Structured Product Factory, which you can open by clicking on this button here in the main window. The first window that appears is the so-called template selector. On the left-hand side, you see different structured product templates, which are grouped into the four main categories: capital protection, leverage, participation, and yield enhancement. When you click on any of these templates, what you'll see on the right-hand side is the payoff of the product at issuance in blue versus the payoff of the product at maturity in gray, and the payoff of the underlying asset in red. So you can click on the different templates to find the template that you like. For instance, I like this one here, the Twin Win certificate. So I click on the Select Template button and the main window of the Structured Product Factory appears, which contains two sub-panes: the product settings panes that shows all the different parameters of the product, and the replicating portfolio pane, which contains in the upper half the replicating portfolio of the product, and in the lower half it contains the rule modeler that contains the composition rules of the product. So let's go back to the product settings pane. On the left-hand side, you'll see all the parameters that define the product, such as the asset class, the underlying, trade date, maturity date, and the different strikes and barriers. You can easily change any of these parameters. For instance, you can change the barrier here, and to apply these changes, you simply click on the update button and you see the payoff immediately adjusts. If you want to return to the initial state, all you have to do is to press the Run Rules button, which reruns the composition rules of the product, and you arrive at the initial state. Below the payoff chart, you see different plotting functions. To start with, you can plot the market value of the product, the profit and loss of the product, and the return on investment. In addition to this, you have a variety of different risk parameters that you can plot, such as the delta of the product, the gamma, the vega, or the product leverage. And last but not least, the valued risk distribution of the product compared to its underlying. And here you can also customize the valued risk. For all of these plotting functions, there is an additional function that is quite interesting, which is the so-called time machine, which is this slider here. When you move this slider here, you basically move the product forward in time towards maturity, which is the end of the slider here. And here you see the valued risk distribution of the product at maturity in blue versus its underlying in red. And of course, you can move back in time again. And you can do that for any of these plotting functions. For example, I can go back to the market value of the product and use the time machine to move forward in time and backward in time. Another interesting function that you'll find here is the so-called scenario analysis, which you can open by clicking on this button here. Here you see the scenario analysis tool. In the upper half, you can change any of the risk parameters that affects the price of the product. For example, you can change the underlying of the product, the volatility of the underlying, the interest rate, and the valuation date. And you see immediately down here the impact that the change of these risk parameters has on the market value of the product, the P&L, the return on investment, and the different risk parameters. So once you're finished with the product, you can click on the OK button to import the product into the thinkFinance main window, into the Portfolio Manager. And you'll see this is the product I just created. And there is another product I created earlier, which is the barrier discount certificate. It's important to mention that you can also compare different structured products by opening the risk manager. What you see here is the joint valued risk distribution of the two products in the portfolio manager. You can change to a book by book comparison, and you see here the risk profile of the twin win certificate compared to the risk profile of the barrier discount certificate, and you can see they're quite different. You can also compare their payoff by going to the sensitivity analysis here, and again I'm choosing a book by book comparison, and here you see the payoff of both products at issuance, and once again you have a time machine function here, and you can compare the evolution of the payoff over time of these two products. And you can of course go forward and backward in time. Of course, there are many other functions that you can use for structured products, such as running backtests, including a rebalancing strategy, or using different structured products in a portfolio optimization process, which is explained in different videos. That concludes our short introduction to the Structured Product Factory. If you have more questions to the Structured Product Factory or any other function of thinkFinance, please visit our homepage thinkfinance.eu. Thank you for watching and goodbye.